For the past few days, I have been trying to create fancy three-way corner joints, and I'm miserably failing. So what I need to do is take a step back and practice some things that are a little more simple. Mastering the art of woodworking takes many years of patience and thousands of hours of practice. And even though I'm still a long ways off from that point, I'm slowly working my way there. But what I've learned is that you can't just jump right into hand-cut dovetails and have them be perfect on the first try. There are little steps that need to be taken and perfected long before you're able to make the big leaps. For the last few days, I have been trying to make these joints by hand, and let's just say it's not going very well.
I hate woodworking.
So what I decided to do instead is change things up and work on some simple joints that only require 3 basic tools. And we'll try to master those first. The first joint is a miter joint that will be held together with red oak dowels. This is the first joint that almost everybody learns when starting their woodworking journey, but what people may not know is that there are many different ways to increase their strength. There are splines, hidden splines, dominoes, dowels, biscuits, joint fasteners, tongue and groove. And if you want to get disowned by the woodworking community, Brad nails. I'm speaking from experience. Hashtag YouTube comments. But what's great about this joint is that even though it's the most basic, it's also probably the most used. It's strong and it's reliable. The only twist to today's joints is that they are all 3-way corners, which means I'm joining 3 separate pieces of wood together instead of just 2. So once the glue had dried, I had to connect the miter joint to the 3rd piece. This is where the dowels will come in. The next joint was a fun one, and the final look really surprised me. The first step was to strip all 3 pieces to the same width. The next step is to cut a groove out of all of the pieces to the same thickness of the wood. For this, I use my dado stack, but if you don't have one, you can just make multiple passes with the individual blade, which is what I actually ended up doing, as you will see in the final joint. Because the thickness wasn't correct, I had to adjust my dado stack just a tad and then ran it through again. But this time I raised the stack to the same width of all the pieces. Then all that was left to do was to assemble it. The final joint is very similar to a castle joint. I first started out cutting 45s on my 2 cross pieces. These will be glued like the miter joint at the end, but will fit into the beam like a jigsaw. After cutting out the middle of both of the cross pieces, I had to measure where on the beam they would fit. This one unfortunately didn't fit as nicely as I hoped for, but hey, that just means I have to try again in the future and keep improving. If you're looking for easier ways to make joints, these jigs are going to help. They have helped me, and I know they'll help you.